and we find out what's going on. Right, okay, so one thing I can do sometimes is I would, at this point, I'm not going to do it today because it's going to be awkward while I'm trying to do recording as well, is I would look at having a second Dorico window open. I'd have one with page view and one with galley view, just the same file but open in two windows. Because swapping between them, things can jump around, especially once condensing starts being involved. So it can be worth having two windows open. So when I think when you go from grave to white mode, or when we go to galley view, things can end up jumping around and be unclear. So what we're going to do now, having got all our notes in the right place, is we're going to tidy things up a bit. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to rename my score as concert C score. Okay, and so what that does is at the start, it says concert C score, we've got our 2 bars clicks. Okay, we don't need any of that. I can go. There we go. Okay, and you see it's looking a little bit squashed up here, so let's sort some of this out. Okay, we need to go into engrave mode already. We need to place that dynamic below. Okay, just so, yeah, fine. We know that's associated with just that first flute. But, it's just with the violins here. I would also suggest we need to do something like this. It's always too small. It needs to be about 150. So it's nice and big. And you could even say, right, we want that above the strings as well. So to do that, we're going to go into, I think it's layout options. So we want system attached items, and we are going to place them also above the strings. So that should mean, there we go, our tempo is also above the strings as well. Okay, at some point we might need to reduce the size of everything just a little bit. And we want a word that describes what we're doing here. Okay, so make sure you spell it properly. L1 processing, so we go back to being video game. We want it that big so we can actually see it. Okay, so yeah, we've got that down there as well. We might arrange it just a bit more space between these two staves. Right, there's also something we could do here. We could kind of group these labels, and there's some playing around we could do with this. Right, this is looking a little bit squished up here, isn't it? Where we've got this bar number above a trill, above a slur, above something with its tails going up, and then that's colliding with my name. And meanwhile, that didn't happen. So what we can do is we go to, I think, move the frame down a little bit. There we go. Just clears that. We didn't really have to move any individual items. We just moved the whole frame down a bit. Okay, so this looks nice and clear. I do wonder whether I wanted to... What's happening with my oboe slurs at the start here? Okay, they are there. This is something I've had before, where when things combine, it would be nice if these slurs appeared under here, and I don't think there's a setting. Amalgamation for slurs. Effect amalgamation for slurs in the downstem voice. There we go, lovely. So then when they're not doing the same, that didn't used to happen actually. So when they're not doing the same thing, not doing the same notes, it's fine. It's fine on the clarinet part because they're doing the same rhythm. Here they're not doing the same rhythm, so it'd be nice just to clarify that needs a slur as well. Okay, it works when they're both on the same stem as well, but right, just taking a glance at this, I think I'm just going to move that one so it's there, and then I can move our tempo marking down a little bit. Hopefully I haven't moved it down there, good. Right, just put that one there, it just makes it slightly easier, makes it slightly clearer. Okay, so we've got, okay, this is unfortunate. We don't want this happening. I do wonder whether if we go into engrave mode, whether, yeah, these numbers here tell us have we got too much going on our page, and we haven't. But we have got issues here with this colliding. and despite the fact that we'd already moved that down, let's just check we've, yeah, be careful when doing this, because I've sometimes done this and you find you're moving the whole frame and then the bottom of the music falls off the stave. But that's better. It's just this trill with this bar number. It isn't playing as nice as we'd like it to. There's a lot going on. I can't really think of a better way of doing that. We might just have to put up with it. It does like to put in A2s at the beginning of every single line, and sometimes you can go through and delete them. I'm not going to. It's perhaps a nice reminder for the conductor that yes, they are playing together. Okay, so we're just going to go through. We're just going to spot any really obvious issues. We're going to piccolo there. That's fine. Reminding us here, this is now piccolo. This is one of the points where things are going to get wonky, I think, because this is just our first oboe doing this, and I don't like this sitting up here. Even though it's just our first oboe, we want to find the setting that means it's going to be placed below. Again, that's not going to change anything in our parts or anything like that. Okay, I will also see if we can just select that note. In fact, we need to go to galley view for this, I think. So this is bar 16. If it decides to not go to where we are, there we go. Bar 16. No, this is no. Oh, sorry, I'm thinking something else here. We've got more rests than I would like to be seeing here. Basically, I don't want that rest there. In fact, I don't want these rests here either in this flute part. This might be again a setting we can change. Elaboration of piano techniques. Inactive players. Hide rests and label inactive players. There we go. That's much better. Okay, that's much better. In fact, this can now go up a bit. Right. Okay, that's just given us tails down here. Yes, it's only player 1. That's much nicer. Hang on, what page here? I think. Right, okay, so that's a lot nicer. And then it's cleaned up a lot of the stuff on this page now. That setting has. I'm not sure that's why I want to. Just why I'm looking at my running header. That's not what my running header to say. Let's just edit the default. It's incredibly tiny. Let's zoom in a bit. I just want the project title and my name. Right. So this has tidied this up a lot more. These ones are in a nice place here. That's not the clearest where these number 2s are coming in. Okay, so let's go to engrave mode, and we're going to pop that number 2 as close to that note as possible, really, just to make sure that is the second part. It doesn't even matter if it's sitting on top of the notes a bit. We just want it to be clear that is the second part coming in there. That is not lined up. Okay, I think I might have to go into, I can try running my script. Nope. I'm going to have to go back to write mode for no, I'm going to be into galley view for that, aren't I? Right. Yeah, this is why I'm about having 2 windows open, because now I'm a little bit lost as to where I am. Right, I'm on my dynamic scripts just to organise them. Go back to page view. Yep, so it's gone back to the beginning. And this is not too much of a problem on a project this size. We can imagine if you're doing something really big, have a second window open, one that's in galley view and one that's in page view engrave mode. So that and changes you make in one will be another. You just do a window, new window, and you'll have the same stuff twice. But these dynamics, those dynamics need looking at. Okay, so this is fine now. That's doing our auto piano we wanted. Cool. Okay, so this page is something weird going with the dynamics in bar 17. I try and select a note to see if that actually encourages it to be helpful. Right, let's just and grab all that. And so what this script does is you can select the whole thing, and then it'll deselect everything from the dynamics. It ungroups them and unlinks them, and then it groups them and links them again. So that if they are coming across as a bit wonky, it should sort them out. Just grab something that's making some text, right? So maybe we do that. It's not going to go right back to the beginning. Yes, there we go. This still isn't right. Okay, what's going on here? What's going on here? Right. Back to page 17. Right. Okay, what's going on here is the fact that we've either got. See, that's not quite where we want it to be. Okay, that's too long. Okay. That's not helping. Right. We might even find, if we checked our proofreading here, which I will do at some point, that it's telling us that something is doing something. Yeah, it shouldn't do. Yeah, something's too long. Right, this looks better. It was the oboe parts with the issue, wasn't it? Right. Still not there, is it? Still not there. Okay. So the easiest thing to do here is delete all, select all that, and then they'll all be linked together. Let's see, this one hasn't. Right, go down. Thank you. Go down. Yeah. Okay, so they should all now be linked, and hopefully this time, when we go back to pile 17, nearly. Not done it with the clarinet. Oh, right, okay. I can't be bothered. There we go. Right. I wouldn't mind hiding that signpost as well. No, hang on, no. Because it's hidden a whole bunch of them there. Oh, for goodness sake. Right. No, I only want to hide that one. Oh, where do I hide that one? No, it's hard hitting a bunch of others there. This is what wastes the time. This is what wastes the time. Right, it was the clarinets, wasn't it? Right. That one. No. I think the issue is it could be this crescendo. So actually, maybe we squidge that back a bit. It could be that crescendo that's causing the problem. Lost half my other dynamics there as well. But the clarinet one is right now and the oboe's wrong. Okay, so. Oh my goodness me, right. The oboe's wrong because it's not there, right? The oboe's got 2. Has the oboe got 2, or is that another clarinet one? Because it does say R2. Yeah, that's another clarinet one. Just placing it up there now. Why? Just don't. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a different strategy here. We're going to force a condensing change onto the clarinet part. A manual condensing approach. Tell them both to be on the same stave. Okay, nearly there. Right, and then we hit it. Right. It doesn't matter that we're doing. It doesn't matter how we get there. We got to the point we wanted to be at. And it looks like we want it to look like. It doesn't matter how we got to that point. It matters that it looks like that. Right. Everything else is behaving itself. In fact, that looks nicer where they're separate. Also, where they're on the same stem. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're attached to that. So we can hide you as well. We have to check it's not. We've got the signpost on, so we don't want to check it's attached to something else, but it's not. Yeah, it's just condensing when it starts to get complicated. It can start to cause issues. Right. Okay, yeah, this is looking fine now. Yeah, I might want a separate stem there, but like I was talking about the cellos, but it's fine. Oh, whoa, trombones, what are you doing here? Let's check this. This looks okay. Everything's quite well spaced. I think my template seems to be set up for this sort of the size of orchestra anyway. Right, so trombones in bar 25. I imagine, yes, that's no problem. Yeah. It's you and you need removing from the group. You've been naughty. We're going to move from the group. Fine. And it's just sort of giving a scan over it and seeing if there's anything that really stands out that is wrong, that looks ugly, or stuff sitting on top of each other. Like Dorico's got very good at not doing that. Spotting things like dynamics that are in the wrong place or missing. And some of these missing dynamics might pop out when we look at the parts, because they won't be there either. And then you'll have to come back here and just double check that it's putting them in the right place. This is looking fine. Why is it telling us once again that is a goal? Right, so I see, right, okay, so this is set up at the moment so that our timpani and our gong are the same, sorry, our gong and our toms are the same player, and we don't really want that. We just want an empty-handed player for now. We want an alpenhorn. Why have you given me an alpenhorn? I don't want an alpenhorn. I don't want you to be above double basses either. I want you to be there. Right, okay. Complete instrument. I do not need an alpenhorn. Do I need an alpenhorn? I want my gong to go to our empty-handed player. Okay. And then that should stop this happening here. It's basically because the tom part stopped. It went, oh, yeah, I don't know how to cope with that. I was meant to be playing a gong and the toms at the same time, and now I'm just playing a gong. You can see our clef change happened nicely there. This is all looking pretty good. I think there's nothing. I'll have another look at this another time, and you'll find 25,000 different things you've missed. That's not 25,000 because it's not that bad a job. Oh, that's a bit redundant. It's a bit redundant. We're definitely going to hide that one. Trombones weren't doing that, but the bassoons decided to. Okay, fine. Oh, really? Oh, really? In fact, that's an empty bar, isn't it? Bye. Just an empty bar then we didn't need. Conveniently, we have a multiple of 4 here, so everything fits really nicely. Right, okay, so I think we're pretty much there with what we are going to do for prepping the score. There might be 1 or 2 things I would double check. Like this is now very squashed here, so I wonder whether I don't want to go there. This could just shuffle along so it sits there. It looks fine up there. And yeah, you'll keep going through things and finding things that aren't right or that need looking at, just to get that really clean look. And one of the things I would actually do next is I would export this as a PDF and then open that and actually go through and comment on things that I think don't work or don't look right. Because when you look at it like this, and when you look at it outside of Dorico, suddenly you spot things that you hadn't seen before. Even if you go into print mode and it prepares it all, even in this view, you might find there's things you spot, but you can't really comment on it here. You can't do anything about it from this mode, and as you saw, it takes a little while to set it up. So what I would do is I would print it to PDF. I would then open that and have a look there and see if there was anything that was like glaringly wrong or out of place. I might group this slightly differently and just mark it up as percussion. I'm going to leave it as it is for now. If I had a bigger score where perhaps this was starting to look a bit squashed, I might do something else with it. Not sure what. Or if I really wanted to reduce the number of percussionists I could do, as I said, I'd probably get rid of the tom first and then the bass drum and just have them as samples. And if you were doing that, you might then want to actually just make this a smaller stave and just say this is on the track and have that in your what was called a mix minus, so the bit that they could be listening to, the players could be listening to, but they're not actually recording on the day. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there, and next time we'll have a look at sorting the parts, because they probably look okay. Yeah, we've got 1 or 2 issues going on there, but it's not looking dreadful. So I hope that's been useful. And next video we'll go through the parts. That will probably be fairly quick because hopefully it shouldn't take too long. It's normally something that Dorico does particularly well. And I hope you find this useful. Please do like and subscribe, and then I will do some more videos like this, and I shall see you next time.